Welcome back to Touchback Football. These are my hot takes for the NFL for Week 3. Starting off, we got the Browns and the Giants game. For this game, I got two takes. They're going to score a combined score of 20 or less. So this could be 10 to 10. This could be, 3 to 16, something like that. So I just don't think this will be very high scoring. I think the Giants are only averaging like 13 points per game. And the Browns are averaging a lot more, but I don't think they need more. Plus, I really like the Giants' defense. They've been pretty good this year. I like Bobby Okereke. I like Sexy Dexy. These are really good pieces for their defense, and they've been performing pretty well this season. My next hot take is Deshaun Watson and Daniel Jones combined for less than 250 yards passing. Neither of these guys have been racking up passing yards. Most quarterbacks haven't. 250 combined is really low, but I just don't have any faith in either of these two passing games, and I think that their run games will find success. All right, for the next game, I got the Packers versus the Titans game. For this game, I got Packers defense getting 3 or more takeaways. They're already averaging 3 takeaways per game. Now they're playing Will Levis, who leads the league in takeaways, in giveaways, I mean. So I think that they would have no problem hitting this mark unless Will Levis learns from his mistakes, which he should have already done that from what he did in Week 1, but who knows. I don't think Jordan Love plays in this game. Obviously, if he does, it's going to be an even bigger blowout. But I think that Josh Jacobs is again going to have a bunch of carries, and Malik Willis will have to throw the ball even less this week. My final hot take for this game is Tajay Spears finally beats out Tony Pollard for the starting running back for the rest of the season in this game. I think he'll have a really good game against this Packers defense, which is not that good against the run. I don't have much faith in Tony Pollard. I don't think he's been that great this season. So I think that Tajay Spears should be able to take his role. Next game is Colts versus Bears. I got two takes for this game. My first one is Anthony Richardson throws 2 picks and is under 150 passing yards. Last week he had 3 picks and around 150 passing yards against the Packers defense, but the Bears defense has actually been even better than the Packers defense, winning them one of the games and almost winning them two. However, the offense obviously couldn't finish. But my other one is Caleb doesn't score a touchdown again. People expected him to score a touchdown his first game. I believe the over under for his first game was 1.5. So most people expected him to have about 3 by now. He still has 0, and I think it'll stay that way. I really like this Colts pass defense. I think they're pretty solid. I think DeAndre Swift will have a decent game this week, which he hasn't had this season yet. Now for the Vikings Texans, I got 3 takes here. One is the Vikings win, which isn't really that hot of a take, but they are definitely the underdog here. I think Stroud struggles against Brian Flores' defense and throws 2 interceptions. Flores' defensive scheme is a bit weird, so quarterbacks struggle against it their first time facing it. However, I believe that it mostly works on younger quarterbacks, like you saw last week with Brock Purdy. It really worked against him, and I think C.J. Stroud will be no different. I also think Darnold will continue to shine and will have 0 turnovers this game. For the next game, it's Saints versus Eagles. Now, for this one, I have Derek Carr comes back down to earth and throws more picks than touchdowns. Now, he's played amazing this season. This whole team's been great. I think they come back to earth a little bit this week, and I think the Eagles are going to end up winning this game. However, I think it'll be through the passing game. I think Saquon's going to be shut down to under 4 yards per carry. I do think Saquon will have an amazing year this season. I just think this week will just be a poor week for him. Next game, I got Steelers versus Chargers. I think that the Steelers are going to score less than 14 points. I think Fields is playing again this week, and even if he's not, I don't think Russell Wilson's much better. They're struggling to put up points. They just don't have to because of their defense. However, the Chargers' offense and defense have been great this season, and I think Quentin Johnston will have over 75 yards and a touchdown, really sort of solidifying himself as the number one receiver a little bit. I really like what he did last week. I watched his routes. He was actually separating quite a bit, which he struggled with in his first season with the Chargers, and his hands have improved a lot. I think he's just put in a lot of work, and I think it'll start to pay off. Now, I don't think Broncos fans are going to enjoy my takes on this one. For the Buccaneers Broncos one, I got Kyle Trask plays at some point. If you don't know who that is, he's the Buccaneers backup quarterback. Obviously, this could be due to injury of Baker, but think there's a much higher chance that it will be because they're just ahead by so much in the fourth quarter. I think Bo Nix will lead their team in rushing again for the third straight week. The Buccaneers' run defense has been decent this season, and the Broncos' run game has just been unusable. I heard it was something to do with their play calling, but also their talent on the running back and their line talent just isn't that good. And my final take is Bo Nix throws 0 completions over 20 plus yards to his own team. So I'm still not gonna like even if he throws a pick of over 20 yards, it's still not counting. Bo Nix has just been really bad this season, so I think that will continue. And Buccaneers defense has been pretty good. They just intercepted Goff, I think, 2 or 3 times that game. I think they can do the same to Bo Nix. My next game is going to be the Panthers versus Raiders. I think Andy Dalton gives life and hope to Panthers fans, but it's false hope. I don't think he's going to finish, but I think he'll start strong, and it'll give the Raiders a bit of a scare. The Raiders have had a terrible run game this season, so I think that Minshew's going to lead the league in passing yards this week. I believe he's one of the top in passing yards and completion percentage already this season, so I think that will continue into this week, even if he has multiple turnovers again. For the Dolphins Seahawks game, I got they're gonna play multiple quarterbacks, so I don't think it'll be just Tyler Huntley or just Skylar Thompson. I think Skylar Thompson might start the game just because he knows the system a bit better, but I don't think he'll stay in the game. My next take is the Dolphins will take a Packers type approach to the game, try to run the ball over the Seahawks. However, the Seahawks will come out to an early lead. The Packers, one reason why they were able to win was they were in control the whole game. I don't think the Dolphins will maintain control of the game early and they'll start behind. And I think Zach Charbonnet is going to have a career day against this Dolphins defense. Next up, I got the Cowboys-Ravens game. I got Jalen Tolbert leading both teams in receiving yards. He had a great week last week. I think that will continue this week. They're going to be putting Marlon Humphrey on CeeDee Lamb, and that will leave Tolbert pretty open. And I think the Cowboys are going to be throwing the ball a lot because they're going to be playing from behind. And I think the Ravens will go over 250 rushing yards. This Cowboys defense is really bad, so I think the Ravens will be able to put up points early, be in control. Lamar can contribute to this too, so I think this will be a pretty easy mark for them to hit. Next up for the Rams-49ers game, I'm going to go Jordan Whittington getting more than 75 receiving yards. He's not even came close to that this season. Obviously, he's not starting. I think he's our 5th receiver, but now he has to play, and I think he's going to have a great day today. However, I think the 49ers will be putting the game away easily in the first half, being up by at least 20 points. Next game, I got Cardinals-Lions. I think the Cardinals are going to win this one. Trey McBride's going to get over 100 yards this game. I think he'll be Kyler's go-to target after last week. It was Marvin Harrison. I think he'll move around. Like week 1, it was Greg Dortch. I think they have so many weapons that it's not just going to be the same guy every week. I think Trey McBride's going to get really involved this week. And I think Goff is forced to throw 40-plus times again. Throws 2 more interceptions again. If this Lions offense can keep the ball, keep Goff to under 30 attempts, I think they can win most games because their run game is so good. But obviously, if he's throwing more than 40 times or even 50, I don't think they're going to have any shot at winning the games. The next game we got the Chiefs versus the Falcons. I think Mahomes is going to throw an interception at the end of the game that gives the Falcons an opportunity. Maybe that's overturned or the Falcons don't deliver, but I don't think they'll end up capitalizing in some way. And I think Chris Jones he just won't do anything this game against the Falcons' interior line. I really like Chris Lindstrom, and Drew Dahlman's a pretty good center, so I think they'll be able to shut down Chris Jones. Next up, we got Bills-Jaguars. The Jaguars' corners have struggled a lot this season, so I think they're going to struggle even more against Josh Allen, and Khalil Shakir is going to get over 120 yards. That's one of my hottest takes of the week. I think he's going to destroy them. Ronald Darby's been one of the worst corners in the league this season. I think he's allowed almost 300 yards, and I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of the week. I don't think either teams are going to be playing very good defense. For the final game of the week, we got Bengals versus Commanders. I think Jamar Chase will be a non-factor again, despite playing a really soft secondary. He has not looked good this season at all, and I think Jaden Daniels is going to throw to his receivers more than his running backs. Now, I know you're laughing at that thing. That's not a hot take, but he's been throwing so much to the running backs and not enough to the receivers. I think McLaurin last game had 20 yards. I think that's going to go up by a lot this week. I think he's been watching the film, realizing that he needs to push the ball down the field a little bit more for them to win games. And finally, this one I have no proof. I'm just throwing this out there, just a random dart throw. Emmanuel Forbes gets an interception. I know he sucks, but I think Burrow's going to throw an interception somewhere, so I think Emmanuel Forbes could be the one to get it. And he was really good at getting interceptions in college. That was one of the reasons why he was a first-round pick, even if he's not that good in coverage. And that's all for my hot takes this week. Drop your hot takes in the comments below and make sure to subscribe to my channel.